Hi friends, today we have completed dependent branches. These methods we have completed data's method in the previous classes, stock and data, trading and P&L account, final accounts method, wholesale price method. Today we'll be starting independent branches. After that we'll be left out with only foreign branches. Independent branches which maintains independent accounting records. What do you mean by this? In this situation, that every branch maintains independent set of accounting records for day-to-day accounting following principles of double entry system and accrual method of accounting. At the end of the year, what they do is that they prepare a trial balance, that is by taking summary of all debit balances and credit balance. Also, both the branch and head office maintain separate account to record the transaction between them. That means head office is maintaining separate accounts and branch is maintaining separate account. That is head office account in branch, etc. and branch account in the books of head office. At the year end, accounting for independent branches, then with the help of that, the final accounts can be prepared. Clear to all of you? The final accounts can be prepared. So that is what today we are looking into it. So today I'll be giving you the brief idea about what are the things which we need to learn. Generally, for doing the problems, like whenever you talk about any trial balance, you know that it's a final accounts only. So your independent branches, when they are preparing double entry system, the trial balance will be sent by the branch to head office, branches to head office, and that branches will incorporate the trial balance and they start preparing final accounts. Who can prepare final accounts? Relating to branch. If branch also wants to prepare final account, they also can prepare final accounts. But generally the information trial balance is being passed on to head office, so that head office, after looking into that, they will be starting preparing final accounts. Okay, that means, simple words, independent branches maintains complete ledger accounts under double entry system following accrual basis, point number one. And since all ledger accounts are being maintained, the trial balance they can prepare the trial balance. They will be passing on to head office. That head office is incorporating the trial balance of branch into their books, and branch result can be known by head office. Clear to all of you? And if branch also want to prepare, they also can prepare, because trial balance is there with them. They also can prepare the final accounts. But generally, who prepares final accounts? Head office. But ledger accounts are being maintained by whom? Branch, because of numerous transactions are there. So branch maintains the trial balance, branch maintains the ledger accounts, and then they will be submitting the list of the ledger balances to head office. Okay, then head office, after looking into it, they'll be incorporating those ledger balances of branch into head office books, and then they will be preparing final accounts. Now in the meanwhile, what happened? Even the independent branches, there are some transactions which may take place between head office and branch, frequent transaction. Those transactions are recorded by both branch and head office. Even the independent branches means which maintains independent accounting records. Simple words, independent branch means which maintains independent accounting records. So the goods will be sent by head office to branch. So then previously we were seeing that when goods have been sent by head office to branch, we haven't seen any entry in the books of branch. But now this time you will be having entry in the books of branch also. Clear to all of you? You will be also having the account in the books of branch also. And similarly, goods written by branch, previously we have never seen the entry in the books of branch. Now you will be seeing the entry in the books of branch. Cash sent by head office to branch, we have not seen the entry in the books of branch. Now you will be seeing the entry in the books of branch. Cash remitted by branch to head office, that we have not seen, that you will be seeing. So few examples I am giving you. Okay, so I think expenses incurred by head office on behalf of branch, I think previously we have not seen that entry in the books of branch, that we will be seeing. Similarly, purchase made by branch on behalf of head office, that we have not seen so far, that is a new entry. So like that, few examples I have given. These examples we discussed today in independent branches. That means independent branches, that means for the first time you are seeing you will accounts are accounts are also being maintained by branch. Okay, it was not the case. That is what is called as independent branches, which maintains independent accounting records. You can take your notes. You have to I have to dictate the entries, otherwise the time consuming writing on the screen, and again you'll be copying down. Instead of that, please have a notes with you. Shall I start? I told you every class you need to have a notes with you. So write the heading independent branches. Accounting for independent branches, you write heading. Accounting for independent branches. Accounting for independent branches. In this situation, the every branch maintains the every branch maintains independent set of accounting records. In this situation, the every branch maintains independent set of accounting records. For day-to-day accounting, following principles of double entry system. Following principles of double entry system and accrual method of accounting. And accrual method of accounting. At the end of the year, the branch prepares a trial balance. The branch prepares a trial balance. In brackets, summary of all debit balances. Summary of all debit balances. Credit balances. Summary of all debit balances and credit balances of accounts. Okay. At the end of the year, branch prepares a trial balance, bracket, summary of all debit balances and credit balances of accounts, brackets close. Also, both branch and head office both the branch and the head office maintain a separate account to record the transactions between them. That is, in the books of branch, there will be head office account. in the books of branch there will be head office account. Similarly, just a minute. You written in the books of branch there will be head office account, and the balance in this account will be equal to net worth. Equal to net worth means branch, you know what is net worth? Assets minus liabilities. Brackets, branch assets minus branch liabilities. Branch assets minus branch liabilities. The head office account in branch, the head office account in the books of branch is similar to capital account. Is similar to capital account because the head office is investing the money into the branch. So whatever the amount that is due by branch to head office is nothing but capital. So the head office account in the books of branch is similar to capital account. Next line. In the books of head office, there will be a branch account. There will be a branch account. The branch account shows the debit balance. The branch account shows the debit balance. Now we can say that the branch account debit balance must be equal to, in the books of head office, the branch account debit balance is nothing but in the books of branch head office account credit balance. Okay, that means whatever the amount that is due to head office must be equal to whatever the amount is due from branch in the books of head office. Suppose in the books of branch 10,000, after preparing head office account it shows credit balance of 10,000. When head office after opening branch account, it also should show 10,000, but this time debit balance, because when you need to make a payment it shows credit balance. When you need to receive the payment it shows debit balance. So for a head office it is like a debit balance, means the amount is to be received from branch. In the books of branch amount is payable to head office, that is why it shows credit balance. Clear to all of you? So the next point is that the trial balance of branch is the basis. The trial balance of branch is the basis. The trial balance of the branch is the basis for head office to incorporate operating results. To incorporate operating results. To incorporate operating results of branch. To incorporate operating results of branch. To incorporate operating results of branch. Next line. Although the branch is independent, although although The branch is independent. Still, there are some transactions. Still, there are some transactions in between. Still, there are some transactions in between the head office and branch. In between the head office and branch. And which are to be recorded. And which are to be recorded. And which are to be recorded as follows. And which are to be recorded as follows. In the books of head office and branch. In the books of head office and branch. In the books of head office and branch. So what you do, you write like this, have 3 columns. First column write like particulars. In the books of head office. In the books of branch, have 3 columns like this. Okay. So first one, transaction number 1. Goods sent by head office. Goods sent by head office. Who is the receiver? Branch. In the books of head office, they will be writing entry. I think you are familiar with this entry in dependent branches also written the entry. Branch account at R2. Goods sent to branch account. Branch account at R2, goods sent to branch account. Here, I think for the first time you are writing the entry in the books of independent branch. That is in the books of branch under independent method. Goods from head office account data are goods from head office account data are to head office account. To head office account. Clear to all of you? This is first entry. Second one. Goods written by branch to head office. Reverse the entry here. Goods sent to branch account data are branch account. So now the books of branch, what happens? Come on, reverse it. Head office account at R2, head office account at R2, goods from head office. Okay, next, third transaction. Here to all of you this one. Head office to head office. This is clear. Head office account at R2, third one, third transaction. Cash sent by head office to branch for meeting some expenses or certain things. The expense of branch amount has to go from head office only, no? The entry will be branch account at R to cash account. Debit the receiver, what is going out, cash is going. Now here, what is coming in cash? Cash account at R to head office account. Cash remitted by branch to head office. Cash account at R to branch account. See, the cash has been given by branch. We have seen that in dependent branches. Debit what comes in cash. Cash account at R to branch account. Cash remitted by branch to head office. And here entry is received head office. Head office account at R to cash account. You can write bank also. Place of cash you can also write bank. Next. This is important. Frequently you may come across. Asset purchased. Asset purchased by branch, but interesting. Asset account is maintained. Asset purchased by branch, but asset account is maintained. Account is maintained by head office. Asset purchased by branch, but asset account is maintained by head office. Entry will be branch asset account at R2, branch account. That means they are maintaining, the records are maintained by asset purchased by branch, but asset account is not maintained by, because assets are important. No, branch assets need to have the complete information. The head office wants to have the information. So that is why they will be debiting branch asset. And who has given that branch, who has purchased the branch? Giver is the branch. Now here branch feels that he is receiving head office. So they will be writing head office account at R2 cash, because the asset is purchased by branch. Come on, tell me. Head office account to cash. But This head office account, why they are debiting? Because who is maintaining that? Asset is being maintained by head office. Next, depreciation branch asset, depreciation on branch asset. I told you the account is kept by head office. The entry will be, they will be debiting branch because they have earlier created branch, no? Buying the asset, they debit now branch account. Branch account debtor to branch asset because asset value is decreasing. So branch asset. The reason is that when asset is decreasing, the amount which is due to branch also decreases. No, the simple logic, my dear friend. Suppose this is 100 rupees. Depreciation is 10%. Say 10 rupees. What happened? Come on, tell me. The 100 rupees asset, when 100 rupees asset value, amount due to branch is 100. The asset value is decreasing. Branch account balance also will decrease. Now, I think branch account shows debit balance of 90. Branch asset also will show the branch asset will show debit balance of 90. Branch account will show a credit balance of 90. Here to branch account 100 credit 10 debit 90 credit branch asset 100 debit branch asset credit 10 90. Now I think here you have to guess. They will be writing the depreciation. For them it is an expense. Depreciation account debtor to head office. So that means suppose head office actually 100 rupees they have written 100 cash 100. Then what happened? The depreciation they are debiting 10. So depreciation they are debiting 10 here like this 100 they write 100 they write here they write 10 and they write 10. So earlier amount due from head office is 100 because asset value is coming down. You created a head office. When you created a head office, what happened? The amount due from head office will come down to 90. Of course, the depreciation is a loss. This will be transferred to which account? Branch P&L account. Branch P&L account. Generally, after getting the trial balance, who prepares the branch trading P&L account? Who prepares? Come on, tell me. Head office prepares. After incorporating the trial balance into their books, and they prepare P&L. Branch also can prepare, but ledger accounts are being maintained by branch. Generally, final accounts will be prepared by head office. Okay, please come. Now, 7. Expenses incurred by expenses incurred by head office to be charged to that means branch expenses we have incurred entry. Debit branch expenses I am creating. Actually, to explain this, they'll be writing like this. Expenses to cash. Branch to expense. Second into the agreement. Now, expense got cancelled. You can write branch to cash. Since they have debited already at the time of making the payment, they have debited expense to cash. So the second entry I am giving. What is the entry I am giving? Branch account. Is this clear? First entry they will be head office will be writing expense to second entry they are writing Branch to expense. Expense part cancel you also can write. Branch to cash also you can write. Clear to all of you? So I am giving about which entry? Second entry. This is nothing but second entry of this one. Branch to expense. Here you can guess easily. The expenses of whom? Branch. Expenses account are. Who has given these expenses? Head office. Head office. Eighth transaction. Purchases made by branch. Purchase made by branch on behalf of head office. Say there are some goods which are very famous, where branch is operating their activities. So head office needs is they will be asking, inspecting the branch, buy the goods which are required for head office. So purchase made by branch on behalf of head office. They will be debiting purchases. Since they are not made the payment, but who has made the payment? Concerned branch. We credit concerned branch. So observe, this branch account is nothing but concerned branch. If it is only one branch, one branch. Or you are having Calcutta branch, Mumbai branch, Chennai branch to Calcutta branch to Mumbai branch to Chennai branch, like that, you fix that. Purchase account to branch. Here, for whom sake they purchase head office. So head office account to cash account. Ninth one. Collected by branch. Behalf of head office data. Suppose head office data are created the branch like Calcutta. Calcutta customers, they directly are having contract with the head office. They got goods from head office. Calcutta customers of not Calcutta branch. Calcutta customers of office. Calcutta customers of head office. Amount is collected by branch. If head office they themselves are collecting, they write cash to cost. Since they have collected the money, the amount is being collected by concerned branch. The entry will be branch account debtor. Branch account debtor to debtors. Now here, cash account debit comes in cash. This amount to be given to whom? Head office. Cash account debtor to head office. I think this is clear to all of you. So far, how many entries I have given? 9 entries. I hope you are copying down with me, or else you can copy down later on. Okay, I thought of initially dictating it, but see on the screen like a board. I think you can copy down. Cash collected by branch on behalf of head office. Now we see the next one, 10th one. We may come across sometimes transit items. Transit items. What are transit items like the goods in transit? This is also called as reconciliation. Reconcile. They'll use, don't confuse. Reconciliation is nothing but you have learned in BRS. Transactions as recorded in one book but not recorded in other books is called as reconciliation item. General reconciliation items are called as transit items. Item. Goods sent by head office but not received by branch. Cash remitted by branch but not received by head office. These two are very famous. I repeat once again, goods sent by head office but not received by branch. Second transit item can be cash emitted by branch but not by head office. Before year ending, important. Reconciliation term we use before year ending, transaction has not taken place. That is what how to deal with this. We'll be learning this. So goods sent by head office but not received by what is called as goods in. Remember, here I am giving like A and B. So when I was explaining dependent branches, I told you one of maybe in final accounts method I was telling you goods in transit treatment will be different when it comes to independent branches I mentioned. In dependent branches, I told you if you remember maybe last but one problem, not the previous class, preceding previous class. We have seen that told you that the office closing balance is having goods in transit, something like 33,000 something. Okay. So I told you, but here goods sent by head office but not received by branch, since the communication has already been sent, first there should be an entry in the books of branch. Goods in transit account data. Goods in transit account data head office. This is the entry they should write. Entry should be written the books of branch. The entry should be passed in the books of branch. If this entry is not passed, entry not passed the branch, then following entry should be passed. Entry is goods in transit account at R to branch. First, you should write entry here. Goods in transit account at R to head office account. R. I'm writing R. So what I'm writing is a B. Option B. Firstly, you should write this. Firstly, not second. write entry here. Goods in transit account at head office. The entry should be written in the books of branch. Not that is the entry is not passed in the branch. Then the following entry should be. Here I am giving a note. When entry for has been passed, no need to pass. No need to pass. Entry in the books of head office. Entry for goods has been passed in the books of branch. No need to pass entry in the books of head office. Note 1. And goods in transit is received later above entry is to be reversed. What is the above entry is to be reversed? Come on here. Goods in transit office. Reverse it head office account at transit. Having nullifying the effect. Here also if you are writing in head office, it reverse branch to goods in transit. Get all of you. This is about goods in transit. I think I've given thinking of by head office, but not branch. Now, second transit item. D. Cash by branch, but not cash remitted by branch, but not received by head office. Now, here the first entry whose books? Firstly, whose books? Head office. Again, firstly, whose books? Their branch books. Firstly, whose books? Head office. What is the entry, sir? You should write the entry. Cash in transit account at R2, branch account. Cash in transit account, branch account. Was the entry passed? Like I've written here. Passed. The books of head office. Linear writing. Like I've written. Not. That is. Prefer cash in transit is not passed by head office Then entry is to be recorded as follows. Entry is to be recorded as follows. What entries are here? Cash in transit account at R2. Cash in transit account at R2. Cash in transit account at R2. Head office. Note. Once the cash in transit is received, later above entry is to be reversed. That means if you are written the entry in the books of head office, branch to cash in transit. If you are written the entry in the books of head office, you write head office to cash in. Okay. Then 11th one. Today we have seen the transit items. Sometimes you may have inter-branch transaction. Inter-branch transaction. That is sent by one branch to another branch as per suppose head office is Delhi. They're having branch in Hyderabad in Vijayawada. And Vijayawada branch needs some goods. So by the time they start goods sending from head office, they may be too late. Meanwhile, the nearby branch is at Hyderabad. The Hyderabad, the Delhi head office may ask the branch to branch and they can get the necessary goods where branches have sufficient inventory. They may be instructing them to send. That is what this such kind of transaction we are talking about. Sent by one branch to another branch as per instructions of head office. But these transactions, I'll be writing three parties will be there. Three parties involved. Three parties. The books of in the books of receiving branch, the books of supplying branch. Of head office in the books of receiving of supplying branch. Let us see this. For sent by one branch to another branch. The books of head office, they will be debiting receiving branch account data, receiving branch account data, supplying branch. Receiving branch account data to supplying branch. Here, the books of receiving branch. Goods from. They'll be feeling that they'll be getting goods from whom? Head office. They are in the books of right in the books of sending branch. Goods from in the books of. I think this is better. Receiving branch only in the books of supplying branch. Correct? What I've just changing it. So in the books of receiving branch, they feel that the from goods from head office. Who is the giver? Receiving branch will feel head office is the giver. The books of supplying branch. Who is receiving? Supplying branch will feel head office account data. Debit the receiver. And they'll be creating goods from head office. Head office is a receiver. And here they'll be creating which account? Goods from head office. The two entries are very clear to the books of receiving branch. Goods from head office. They'll be debiting goods from head office. From where they got? Head office. Since they got goods from head office, they are creating head office because amount is due to head office. In the books of supplying branch, they'll be debiting which account? Head office, because they are feeding who is the receiver? Head office. And in fact, it's like goods to head office. Right? Better goods to head office. So try to understand. Bit confusing will be there. The books of receiving branch, they'll be receiving goods from head office. Who is the giver? Head office. The books of supplying branch, who is the receiver? Head office. And they feel that the office is receiver, they're giving goods to head office. They never, among the inter-branch transaction, they never credit or debit which account? Branch. They always feel that they are the receiver, they are the giver. Like who is the receiver? Head office is receiver. Who is the giver? Head office is the giver. Like that. Here in this case, they feel that head office is the receiver. The goods to head office is going out. Goods from head office is coming. Who is the giver? Head office is the giver. Like here you are in the office, the books of branch, give goods and head office. From head office account data to head office. Here when in the books of supplying branch, that is what is that I told you for goods sent by one branch to the supplying branch, it's like I've written here like returns. Yes, I'm comparing. It's not and better office account at all means as if goods have been sent. So here goods at office is for you to understand, but actually coming from where they are giving. To explain, I have written goods to head office, but goods from head office which they got, they are giving it back. Simple words. It's like a purchase return. The books of supplying branch, it's like a received good return. It's like a goods received from head office. But the only thing is that instead of giving it back to head office here, instead of giving receive like a goods return to head office, you are giving to home branch. So instead of receiving from head office, receiving branch is getting the goods from home branch. I told you this is Vijayawada branch. This is Delhi branch, Delhi head office. This is Vijayawada branch. This is Hyderabad branch. The Vijayawada branch goods from head office. They feel that Vijayawada branch is getting from Delhi. So when they are feeling that they are getting goods from Delhi, they should credit head office. Now in case of Hyderabad branch, it's like a goods return. No? So who is the receiver head office? So what is going out? Goods which they got from head office, they are giving it back. That is the meaning. I hope you got the clarity. But in the books of head office, they'll be writing receiving branch account at R2. Receiving branch means in this case, it's like in the books of head office, Vijayawada branch account at R2. When Vijayawada is receiving, Vijayawada branch owes money to head office. And when who is giving back? The Hyderabad branch. Hyderabad branch account is created means branch account Hyderabad balance will decrease. Branch account of Vijayawada branch will increase. Whenever head office supplying branch account debit balance, per branch return back to head office, branch account balance will come down. Simple logic, my dear friend. Branch account will be debited in the books of office whenever head office supplying something, or whenever amount is due from from branch to head office, or whenever branch gives something, branch account will be created means reducing. Debit branch increases, credit branch decreases. That is in the books of head office. Vice versa. In the books of branch, debit decreases whenever you make a payment. Credit increase. The liability, no. For a branch, head office is like a creditor. For a head office, branch is like a debtor. Clear to all of you? Debtor means debit balance, creditor means credit. Next, 12th point. Transfer of here. I'm giving separate. The books of head office of branch. Here. Own property. Their own property. P&L account debtor. General P&L account. For recording branch profit, your profit, when you prepare final accounts of business, your head office, like head office, like a capital account, the entry will be for branch profit only, P&L account at R2 head office, P&L account at R2 head office. Okay. So I think this is, I hope this has given you clarity of thought. We move on to one problem. Okay, my dear friends, hold on. Okay. Now, what actually I thought of taking about one, I think you are new entries to entries. So what I do, I want you to thorough with entries part. Okay, otherwise the class discussion will be more. Sort of initially taking the problem, just I was looking at the time, how much time it has. I think 1 hour. I think it has taken. I've taken 1 hour time to explain these things. So what you do is that you go through the entries part once today. Then the next class, um, you can, you'll be getting the videos now. After getting the video, then you can see the problem part relating to this. I think we are having around 4 to 5 problems. We'll be working out on independent branches. I think this is confusing because a lot of continuing this discussion, extension, continuation of this. Next class, we start working out the. I hope you've been practicing the branch account. Whatever the problems I have told you so far, keep on practicing. We'll meet in the next class. Till then, goodbye. Thank you. God bless you.